Hello. Hi, I'm a little bit late, sorry. And I'm a little bit disheveled because I've managed to double book myself. I'm not the best at diary management, so I've come straight from a session with a client and tried to pretty myself up a little bit for you, but this is as good as it's gonna get, I'm afraid. So I am talking today, we're doing Ask Me Anything. The topic is Ask Me Anything, and I'm going to try and do these every week. Who's this? Hey girl, how you doing? Yes. Hey Natasha, lovely. Hi. Oh, we're all turning up now. Nice. Perfect. Cool, who else is coming in? Hey, haven't missed anything. I've actually been a little bit late. I was rushing around. I was just saying I managed to double book myself, so I came straight from a session with a client, which is why I'm looking a little bit dishevelled right now. But I hope you're all doing well. Today, or for this live, is called Ask Me Anything. And this week, I wanted to talk about healthy eating. I've got a few things to talk about, but if you have any questions, please feel free to start asking away. And we'll see what we can do. I thought it would be interesting today to go through or explore some diets, some well-known diets that are out there. And hopefully, I want to try and clear up the way that you're thinking about diets as well. So I know that when it comes to, we're all here because we want to get fit and we want to lose weight and blah, blah, blah. And most of us, at some point, if we haven't before, will have tried to manipulate this by not eating or trying to diet, extreme dieting. So I want to explore a few different diets that are out there and let you know my thoughts on them. And also, I actually tried one of my own diets. I'm going to talk about it. It was called the paleo diet because once upon a time, I was needing to lose weight and I knew that my diet wasn't the best. I did know what good food was. I mean, we all know what fruit and vegetables are, but there's so much conflicting information out there that you don't know what you can eat. Can I eat potatoes? Can I eat rice? Can I eat pasta? Although all those sorts of questions, yeah, okay, cool. And so, because we're trying to lose weight, we minimise the food that we have. So you're either going to be unhealthy and start to almost kind of starve yourself. Oh my God, I'll tell you about something that I did when I was young. So when I was young, I shouldn't have been, but I was insecure about how I looked. I don't know why, like looking back at it, there wasn't anything for me to be worried about, but I know that all the girls probably felt the same. Now that I'm older, a lot of us probably had body insecurity issues that kind of felt like you couldn't talk about because it wasn't really valid. Hey Danielle, how you doing, girl? So a lot of us probably just suffered with our thoughts in silence because we didn't feel like we could talk about them either. And that definitely was the case for me. So as I was like a young teenager, I think I was young. I'm even embarrassed to admit it that at probably 13 or 14 I was aware of diets and if you eat less food it might make you skinnier. And I don't even know, looking back at it, knowing what I know now, I came up with some crazy diet of a potato salad diet. Has anyone ever heard of that? I don't even know if I made that thing up, but I decided I was going to eat potato salad. And for forever, that was it. That's all I was going to eat. So I convinced my mum I was vegetarian now and that's all I was going to eat. And I remember doing that for a while. But looking back on it, it didn't have any nutritional value, but I didn't know that at the time. So what happens is you come up with these crazy ways to lose weight and you're either not eating or you might follow some diet that you've heard about. We all know, probably have heard about Atkins, paleo. Then we've got all the Slimming World and the shakes as well. So I thought I'd try and make some sense of it all because it's a bit confusing even for me, and I know about it. I know all about it. So there's different diets to suit different people. And then there's some people that don't suit dieting at all. I'm one of those people. I don't suit dieting because my brain doesn't work well with restrictive. It feels punishing rather than beneficial. And I think that that's why I struggled with it a lot, because I know there's a few people who joined this week who are telling me, what can I do about my sweet tooth? What can I do about that? And hopefully I can help you either put your mind at ease or start to challenge your thought process so that you can have chocolate, but you don't have to have it all the time. Hopefully I can help you there, because I'm one of those people, and if I'm honest, chocolate is in my life a little bit more than I'd like it to be, but at the same time, you know, there's lots of worse things that I could be doing rather than having that chocolate bar every day. So she wants to ask about the coffee and the shakes. Coffee that should stop you feeling hungry. I've never heard about that one. Actually, coffee is already it does something to cave off hunger pangs, the caffeine in it, because you start becoming alive and quite bubbly. So that's how some people get away with living off coffee as well. You know that I like to talk about diet and what's the best thing that you could do, but underneath it all, I think there's a lot of us that are probably doing really bad things, like a coffee diet that is just going to keep you full up. But where's the nutrients coming from? How are you supposed to get through the day on just a coffee? And actually when you're doing stuff like that, it can actually then lead to you, say if you think, great, then I'm not going to eat now, I'm not going to eat because I know that means that I'm going to lose weight. It makes sense. If I don't eat calories, I've got to lose weight. That's the mindset, okay? But if you then think, well, cool, I'm going to have that coffee now. I don't know what that coffee is. I've not heard of it, but I do know of people that convince themselves that they're not hungry until 2 or 3 o'clock, but they're probably having about 5 coffees within that time. And also some coffees you might be thinking, oh, well, I'm not having anything to eat. I'm having 2 or 3 lattes. Well, there lies a problem, because you are eating, but you don't know about it. Your body's still consuming calories. And again, it's not nutrients that's going to get you on with your day. It's just going to give you that little bit of hit or whatever protein is in that milk, and that's going to be it. So I think the reason why we're starving and that we're hungry is because we're not actually giving our body enough to get going in the day. And that's why they always say that breakfast is the most important meal. I'm also not really a breakfast person. I never really have been. I've always found it hard to eat. May have been something that I learned when I decided that eating food was not the best idea if I wanted to lose weight, especially the food that I was eating at the time. So we definitely should think about breakfast. What I do is I'll get up in the morning, I have a big fat glass of water every day because it helps my brain feel better. And then I go for a workout, and after that I do have a coffee, but I have a banana as well, and my coffee's a black coffee. I don't really tend to have milk in it unless I'm going out. I might fancy a little latte treat because they make them really nice, but hidden calories in those lattes. So cool. Did that answer your question there? Oh, she wants to ask about those shakes. Shakes are great. I think I've got some here up for a review, actually. I've put it up here on my laptop so that we can talk about it. There's a few different ones that I wanted to talk about. And I think I've got shakes on there, so maybe we will jump in there if I can find it. The meal replacement, Slim Fast. Slim Fast, shall we start in there? I think people are... a lot of people actually, once upon a time I used to have a normal job, and I used to work in an office, and I used to be an office manager, and we would all be those people that are like round the water cooler basically talking about what they're doing to lose weight, and most of the time someone was on a Slim Fast diet. You can bet if they're on a diet, it might have been a Slim Fast diet. Times might have changed as things have gone on, but they were definitely popular when I was in the office. Sorry, I'm just reading Tina's question there. I'm not a milkshake person, but might try recommended. Yeah, I do. So I'm going to finish this off about the idea behind the Slim Fast diets. And their plan is that you would use their shakes as meal replacements. And those meal replacements should have the things that I don't know, it's not really one that I followed. But it does make sense. It gives you what you want, but it's probably, again, you're not eating it, so you're not you're kind of teaching your body in a weird way not to eat food, and that you can get by on shakes. So it's probably not ideal, and I don't think it's one of those ones that you can use long term. Actually, I think that they even say that. So yeah, and also sticking with one of those shake plans is all well and good for a short time, but it's not something that you could realistically carry on with and be healthy. So for completely changing your meals for shakes, no. Even if you're doing the protein shakes, even if you're like, great, I'm not on the old Slimming World, but I'd rather have, I don't know, 4 shakes a day than any food. That's not the best either. You still be getting all the nutrients in, but you won't be eating, and it's nice for your body to actually have food to digest rather than just let it pass through. So I do have shakes to recommend, because I do have protein shakes, but that's generally a little bit to help me out in the morning, and I do still have breakfast because I obviously burn a lot of calories, so I want to make sure that my body still gets enough. Oh, sorry. So you can do that if you want to, and I'll be very happy to even find some recipes for you, Tina, if you comment underneath, or just send me a little message and say, yeah, I would, actually all of you, if all of you are here thinking I'd like some healthy shakes that are nutrition, I can give you some natural ones that you can get yourselves with fruits and seeds and maybe some clever milks or yogurts, and then I could also maybe recommend some powder ones. But if you're, yeah, I wouldn't use them for actual meal replacements. It's just better than one of those grab and go bars. That's what I would recommend. If you're one of those people that's grabbing those grab and go bars, you're going to message me and you're going to say, get me one of those shake recipe things. I'm going to make it for you. I don't even have one, but I'll make one for you lot because I love you. So if you want that, you're going to comment on there and you're going to let me know. And that's what we think about the Slim Fast diet. So I'd love to, while I'm actually going through these, I would love to know which are the diets that you've been tempted by or tried before, and what were your thoughts on it. So when I was on my quest to become fit and healthy, I started getting I wasn't ready to address food in the beginning, I have to tell you that. So the reason why I actually started working out was because I couldn't behave with what I was putting in my mouth, and it was awful. I could eat a whole cheesecake to myself a day. No, not really many people know that now, apart from you lot. And no one would really know about it. Whole cheesecake to myself a day, and I loved it. I also love those fresh baked cookies, you know, them little 5 ones that you get. Oh, they're great. Don't really get them much anymore for obvious reasons. But yeah, the idea behind me working out was because I wanted to eat crap, basically. And I thought, well, fine, if you're going to eat crap, but you still want to lose weight, then you're going to have to start doing the workout. So I started doing HIIT. And then I started to become a bit interested in food after then, because then I was thinking, well, I'm doing all these workouts, it'd be nice to feel like I'm giving my body something good. So I started having a look around the diets, because diets are supposedly healthy, but it doesn't turn out that they are. I'm going to tell you which one I was doing, and I didn't really do much research. There was just a lot of fancy names out at the time. One of them was Atkins, and it had bad reviews, so I wasn't going to go down there. Definitely wasn't into doing the shakes. So I, at the time, heard of something called paleo. Have any of you heard of the paleo diet? Thanks, Tina, I'll send it to you. So the paleo diet is actually known as the caveman diet, the natural diet, where if it didn't live and if it didn't breathe, then you cannot eat it. So it excludes anything processed. Some types of paleo can be like really extreme. Some of them were talking about you can only eat meat that's grass-fed. Well, I wasn't doing that, but I was sticking to the rule of if it didn't live and if it didn't grow, then you cannot eat it. You heard of it, you've heard of it, you've heard of it. So I did it actually, and I found loads of new recipes, and maybe at the time it suited me because I don't really enjoy cooking anyway, but I liked it at the time. It was a new thing to me, trying to learn new recipes and stuff like that, and I found some weird and wonderful recipes in there that I did like. It can be a bit strange to follow it, because you are going to have to come up with some weird recipes. I think one of my favourite ones was chicken and walnut in apple cider vinegar. That was one of my favourite ones out of the paleo diets. Yeah, that's the only thing, is having to be a little bit clever with how you're eating the food. But once you get used to what you can and cannot eat, it can be really freeing as well. The thing that I loved about paleo is that there wasn't so much tracking. It wasn't calorie counting, and it wasn't making grams of things either. I really struggle with stuff like that, because once you start putting the calories in front of me, my mindset at the time was so desperate to lose weight that I would be tough about those calories, wherein you're literally starving yourself. And I didn't want to do that. I've got quite a competitive mind. I will race bus drivers on my bike. I am quite annoying like that. I don't ride a bike anymore because I live in London. So yeah, that was actually a good one for me to go to without having to feel like there was too much restriction on what I could eat. It was just very, here are the rules, you're going to get to it. But actually, I was looking up the reviews of diets for this chat. So I've got some notes here as well. And there was some things that I wanted to say. Yeah, the good things about the paleo is that hey Kirsty, how you doing, girl? The good thing about a paleo diet was that you are encouraged to eat less processed food because it's one of the rules. But you also tend to eat a lot more meat, which can, if you eat too much meat, it can be a little bit too bad for you as well. But yeah, I thought it was actually quite a good diet to go to. I felt quite loose with it. So if any of you have tried any diets, that's what we're talking about at the moment, Kirsty. We're talking about diets that we've tried before. So we covered slim shakes, fast shakes, whatever they are. About meal replacements throughout the day, and we talked about why they might be good for a very quick fix but probably not good for a healthy long term. You couldn't carry it on consistently for forever. And then we talked about shakes. So if you would like a recipe of shakes, of healthy shakes that you can have, then you can just write me a little message and I'll send that to you as well. And then I talked to you about my diet that I tried. It's the only diet, well, apart from that potato diet, which was just me being desperate. The paleo diet is something that I would recommend if you don't like counting carbs and you just like bare rules. There you go. If it didn't grow, if it was not natural, you can't have it. That was easy to me. So I did that. One I wanted to talk to you about though was the Atkins diet, because it's something that I know that we've all heard of. She did the Slim Fast. Don't like milkshakes. It wasn't great. And you did Weight Watchers. Weight Watchers is actually one that's good because, yeah, Weight Watchers is actually great because you do get that whole recipe book and you get the group meets as well. But on the other side of that, I think that there's some days, I've actually written some notes down about it. Oh, I bet you I can't find it so quickly. Oh, here we go, here it is. Oh yeah, because the good things about it is that they don't ban foods, but you're working off kind of a point system. So there might be stuff that you would miss out on because you're going to spend your points somewhere else. So it might not be so nutritionally balanced. And the other personal feedback, I've had a few clients that have come that have, obviously we've all tried diets, and that's not a bad one to give a go. But the feedback there is that when you're not feeling on top of the world and you have to go to those group meetings and you have to get the news that you didn't do well that week, it can be repelling rather than challenging to make you want to do better next week. So yeah, pros and cons to that one, but I'm not going to give that one a bad review actually, because I've met a lot of friends that it has worked for. And again, if you get the recipes that are in there in the point system, it's all about what finding really works for you. So paleo probably might not work for people that can't bear to have weird recipes, but they would love keto because they love intermittent fasting. Okay, I'm going to get onto that. They might enjoy keto because some people really love knowing that, oh, if I have this many grams of this and this many grams of that, and then that's it for that meal. It depends what excites you and lights you up. So that, to someone that's maybe really organised, loves to know what's going on in every single bit of their meal, well, they would love a keto diet. Why wouldn't you try that? And then some people would look at that and they'd be like, I can't live like that. I'm one of them people. So you have to find something else that works for you. So paleo probably wouldn't suit someone that loves to measure and take all of those things into consideration, whereas keto definitely wouldn't suit me. But keto is definitely a good one to be trying if you love those and you're thinking about going down the diet route. So we've got a question about intermittent fasting. Should I try it? Yeah. I can't imagine not eating for a day. There's something called the 5-2 diet. Actually, it was one of the ones that I wanted to talk about. Where is it? Where is that? The 5-2 diet. It's based on a principle of intermittent fasting, where you eat normally for 5 days a week and then you fast for the other 2 days a week. This, yeah, is effective. People lost more than 5% of their weight on this diet and lost body fat. The other great things about if you can handle a fasting diet is that, let me read my notes, sorry. Sticking to the, here you go. So if you're free to eat what you want for 5 days a week, but you just had 2 days a week where you couldn't. Hey Joe, how you doing, girl? I'm going to give you a little wave. Yeah, so if, the idea behind it, all the good things about intermittent fasting is that you are kind of free to do what you want for 5 days, but for 2 days you're going to fast. And actually also doing that can help your body. Where did I write it? Hold on. Let's see what it said. Sorry, I'm getting lost in my notes. Sticking to this regimen can be more achievable than a 7-day-a-week diet. So you may be more likely to persevere with this way of eating to successfully lose weight. That's what I put there. 2 days a week on a restricted diet with those 2 days of fasting can lead to greater reductions in body fat, insulin resistance and other chronic diseases developing. So it is a good one if you can get your head around it. If you can part with 2 days of fasting. If you want to know more about that, you can comment underneath and I'll try and send you some links for the 5-2. Again, I actually knew a trainer who was doing 5-2. He really enjoyed it. He really enjoyed it. If you do it, give it a go and tell me what you think. I don't think I could bear to not eat for those 2 days. I love food way too much. And I also think that when we're dieting, it shouldn't be about being hungry. It should be a rethink about eating good nutritional food. That's actually eating a variety. So we get scared of, oh, well, how much should I eat of that? Well, if you just had a dose of that and a dose of that and a dose of that, that would be great. You're not going to go too far wrong. Yeah, she wants to know more about the 5-2. Make sure I get back to you, Tina. Send me a message if I don't, because I've got a couple more for you up here as well. But yeah, I'm glad that you asked about that one. It's basically a simple way to reduce your calorie intake because you're not eating for the 2 days, so you kind of have 5 days where you're free to do what you want. But what can also happen in that is that you eat more than you even normally would in those 5 days because you know that you're going to have 2 days without it. So that can be the thing that you're going to have to watch out for. Also the nutritional deficiencies that you might experience through having free reign over your food in the week. There's so many diets out there. There's so many diets. I think the one I wanted to talk about, it was a big one to talk about at the time, was the Atkins. Does anyone remember the Atkins diet? It also, there's a Dukan diet, very similar to the Atkins, that I did want to talk about, because I know people, that's still a fashionable word, that Atkins. Okay, so I wanted to take some time to go. I never did an Atkins diet, because I think at the time there was a couple of horror stories that were going around about people that were perhaps even dying from Atkins. I just knew that it wasn't the way to go. But the Atkins diet promises to turn your body into a fat burning machine. And the theory is that by starving yourself of carbs, your body will start burning fat for energy. Okay, cool. There's also phases into this diet where they kind of restrict a lot of food, and then they very slowly start to reintroduce it. Yeah, that's what they do. So they pretty much take all the carbs out of your diet, and then they slowly reintroduce it, which is almost like, yuck. It's almost like an extreme cutting phase that maybe bodybuilders would use to get rid of that last little bit of fat before they're going on show or whatever. Definitely not one that I would recommend. You can lose weight very quickly with it, but what you're doing, especially if you're working out, if you're exercising and you're thinking about doing the Atkins diet, I wouldn't. And I'm going to tell you a side story about carbs. A side story about carbs. So as I became into the gym and I got my personal training degree, and all of a sudden I was in the gym and I had all these toys and things that I could play with. And I had done nutrition, but I hadn't gone into it to get my qualification. And we all knew that too many carbs if you eat too many carbs, your body stores it as fat. Yeah, you will be tired. Yeah. So what? If you take away your carbs, that's your primary energy source to get things done and to move around. So if you don't give your body that, it then starts thinking, oh man, where am I going to get that from? And it actually starts attacking different energy sources within your body. One that starts is for your muscles. It's for your muscle pump and your strength. And what can happen, or what happened to me, was I was like, oh great, before I knew the science behind carbs, I'm not going to eat carbs because I wanted to lose weight or get abs or whatever the stupid reason was at the time. And I became really fatigued. I didn't understand it. I was so fit. I was walking around. If I was working out all the time, I didn't understand it. And I started to lose what little definition I had. And then I remember sitting down with one of my coaches who actually put me on to the nutritional thing. And I learned a lot there, and it really changed the way that I think about food, and it made me actually really quite angry that most of us as women believe that carbs are the enemy. They're not the enemy. They're actually your friend. You just need to stop eating so much of them. But they belong in your life. We need them to live. So yes, hopefully that answers your question up there, Atkins. So yeah, basically you can do that, but you will lose weight quickly if you do that. But the side effects can even come down to bad breath because you're not eating, dry mouth, tiredness, dizziness, nausea, constipation, insomnia, heart disease. No, we're not doing the Atkins. No one's doing the Atkins. So if there's one I'm going to definitely not recommend, it will be that one. Perfect. Okay, cool. Is there any diets that I haven't spoken about yet that you was hoping I might talk about? Or do you have any questions about diet? Maybe you've got your own diet problems and you're thinking, how can I level up there? I'm going to tell you about my approach to nutrition with my clients. It's got nothing to do with diets. I don't diet with them. I don't tell them you can only have this many or that much or whatever. I actually work on the mindset about how you're feeling, why you're eating those foods, and maybe you could take one step to be a healthier person and just question question your choices when it comes down to taking foods. So I'm all for diets. If you're into it, go and get one. If you want help getting one and you're like, oh, I'm not really sure which one would suit me, but I do think a diet would be better, then do it. And if you're sitting there like I was and you're like, I am never going to get a good diet, then you're going to send me a message and I'm going to give you some pointers to help you think about the Cambridge. Okay, cool. We'll go back to that. I'm just going to have a little sip of my coffee. Sorry, guys. I'm going to be a little bit cheeky here, but hey ho. She wants to know about the Cambridge diet. I've written about that one as well, actually, so I'm glad that you've asked that. Yeah, the point is, with dieting, is finding the one that works for you. And if diets make you feel like repulsed, then it may be a mindset change that you've got to work on, rather than putting yourself through an unobtainable challenge that you're not into, that doesn't excite you. If it doesn't excite you, then you're not into it. So why do it? You're not going to stick there. Maybe we need to get your mind excited about taking a different approach. Let me quickly go back on my notes about this Cambridge diet for Sham. And bear with, got a lot of notes. The funny thing is that I like to do videos without notes. I like to have all of my information ready. And I was seeing today that it just was not going to be possible. Oh, okay. There's my Slimming World again. Where have you gone? Maybe I didn't get it. Let me just search for it. Sorry, girls. Perfect. What else did I want to talk about food anyway? I want to talk about chocolate, because there's a couple of new joiners that are telling me that they've got a massive sweet tooth and that is a problem. And that's okay. I'm going to help you out right after I find this Cambridge review. Okay. Because it's a rapid weight loss. Oh yeah. I'll tell you what, I've just clicked into something here, so let's see how they're selling it. Oh, it's like the Dukan diet. Oh, they're telling me about a cabbage soup diet. This is interesting because this is from a magazine. So I'll be interested to see what they're saying about it. A Cambridge diet is apparently like Weight Watchers. Low calorie shakes. Hold on, I might have to do some digging about this. It's not what I thought it was. You have a massive cheesecake tooth, so did I, girl. Still would if I had half a chance. I'm going to have a chat with you about your Cambridge diet, Sham, because I didn't write any notes on it. And I can't see, unless you can tell me the basics of what's in it, I'll tell you what I think. Oh, it's like the keto diet. It's a good one. It's a nice one. Yeah, many people find weight loss to be instant and quite dramatic. Yeah, so the good, I don't think I managed to talk about the keto. I mean, I bigged it up there for a little second, but keto, it sounds like it's kind of like the Cambridge diet. They're quite similar. And it kind of is trying to change, and that's maybe a no carb diet. So this works for people and is effective, and you can stick to it long term if it works for you. The only bad things I've heard about keto is that you get a little keto flu. About after 2 weeks, you can become quite sick, and it's just while your body's transitioning the energy phases. I like keto. I know a lot of my clients are using it. It is complicated. There's a lot of measuring that goes on inside it, but for people that like the clarity that measurements give, it's a good one to be checking out. And also the good, the kind of good thing about the keto is that or the Cambridge, is that you are allowed cream. So there's, good fats. So you're allowed fats, you're allowed lots of fatty stuff. So that's great. So yeah, I would recommend it. Cambridge sounds similar to keto. And if it's something that you can get on board with and you enjoy it, then do it. But if you come across keto and you're like, if that is what I've got to do to live a healthy diet life, and it makes you feel like ridiculous, then no, it's not for you. There's plenty of ways that make healthy eating happen. It doesn't have to be one way. So if you enjoy measurements, check out keto. If you don't really enjoy measurements, one of the ones that really elevated me was paleo, because it just helped me see that we only need natural stuff. So if it didn't live, if it didn't grow, you can't eat it kind of attitude. Perfect. I wanted to talk about the sweet tooth next. So if you've got any more questions about diet, my sister-in-law did it, she said. And so, oh, did she? Was that on the Atkins? Yeah, sorry Tina, I'm getting back to you there. Okay. Let's talk about chocolate. Okay, here's one of the things is that people think that in order to be healthy, that you can't have chocolate. You can, but you just can't have it all the time. And the same with cheesecake as well. It really kind of depends what kind of level you're at the moment. If you're sitting here and you're thinking, I'm a little bit annoyed about the fact that I'm eating all this and I want to do something about it, then there's clever ways that you can. So I'm taking myself back to, I had a massive sweet tooth. I loved chocolate so much that when I lived at home with my brother, I would hide chocolate because we both loved it. So I'd hide chocolate in my room, and I actually went through a period of, I can't believe I'm saying it, finding myself in the morning having eaten that chocolate bar whilst I was sleeping. And that happened more than once. I don't know how or why. I love chocolate. I love chocolate that much. And so I knew it was going to be a problem. But when I was going on my quest of trying to lose weight, I knew that I wasn't ready to face the food. So I went for the workouts. So you'll hear some people that say that it's 80% nutrition and 20% workout, which isn't strictly true. It is true if you don't train. And it also depends what kind of age you are as well, and your metabolism levels. I think it was a clever game looking back on it. Well, I was eating all the shit stuff in the morning and I wasn't allowed to eat it in the night. And that's because of knowing that the earlier you eat it, the more chance you've got of burning it off throughout the day. It's not the best mentality to have, but if you're actually not ready to give anything in, think about that, just not having it in the evening. Cheesecake, I don't know how, there's probably lots of healthy alternatives. Maybe we could go and have a look for them. I love cheesecake. There's lots of healthy alternatives for lots of foods, and dark chocolate is great if you can have it. It's much more richer, and actually it satisfies those taste buds a lot more than milk chocolate. Gives you that little taste of it and you just want more and more and more. Yeah, it's true. I know. Is that about my chocolate? Eating my chocolate while I'm sleeping? Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Well, you know what? It's all these little things that lead you to where you go in life. And I'm actually really glad that I had the opportunity to live life both ways with diet. And I'm happy that not happy, but I'm grateful that I've had the experience of living in a world where your mental mindset is almost punishing you, rather than punishing you to get what you want, rather than supporting you to get where you need to be. So I totally understand where you're coming from when we're thinking, oh, you eat too much shit, we're just going to go on 500 calories a day. That's the sort of mentality that I was at. But I will tell you this, the best way to eat better is to know that you deserve to eat good food, and that your belly deserves to have food that's going to help it digest, and that your body deserves to have the nutritional benefits that come with every single piece of fruit that you eat. Much different way of thinking, and it's more fulfilling rather than restrictive, which is a way that I work much better at. She's a secret eater. Yeah, me too. Yeah, it's hard to admit, isn't it? Yeah, a lot of us do it, Tina. A lot of us do it. It's yeah. You do, yeah, okay, yeah, because that's the only time that you can secretly eat it, yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of us are secret eaters. And there's reasons why. There's the reason why that we secretly eat it is because if nobody else knows about it, then it didn't happen. And also maybe because we're greedy and we don't really want to share. And also self-punishment ways, like you feel like you don't deserve to be seen with that treat, so you hide it from yourself and from the world. Yeah, so that's the game that I was playing in the beginning. I was making sure, oh wow, I've only got 10 minutes left. I was making sure that I was eating my shit stuff in the morning because I wasn't ready to. When I started to get more into the nutrition and actually rewarding my body with food that was going to help me work out better and give me good energy for the day, I still loved sweets, and it was very hard to get away from that. Hey Nicole, how you doing, girl? Anyone else that's joined that I've missed? As I started to get better, I still wanted to have sweet things in my life. So unfortunately, cheesecake did have to go, but I didn't really mind too much when I knew that I could have a banana cake that, yeah, it's not the best, but I made it, and I know what's in it. It's got all those beautiful bananas in it. And I was playing games like that. There's also a great recipe of banana pancakes that people went crazy about a couple of years ago, and so did I. And they're amazing. They're really yummy to have and easy to fit in, and you feel like you've had pancakes for breakfast. Nice, thanks, I'll have some of that. So there is a way around your sweet tooth. It doesn't have to mean that you can't have sweet things. It just means that if you're sitting here telling me that you've got like a little bit of a chocolate addiction, that be aware of it. You know that you're aware of it and you want to change it. So change your thought process. When you come up and you're like, oh my God, I really want that chocolate bar. It's a hard fight. I know it is. So you probably have a chocolate bar. So you're going to feed it just to shut it up because it wants that chocolate bar. But if that chocolate bar was still down the shops and not purchased yet, would you still really want it so much that you'd go down the shops and get it? I mean, if you do, then fair play, go and get it. But if you left it in the shops, you're just going to have a little internal paddy about it, have a moan about it, and then find something else to do. That's kind of what I would recommend there. If you're going to eat shit and you don't care, try and get it done in the morning. Don't eat it in the evening. Don't eat it in the evening. Try and get it done before lunch. The earlier the better, the more time you've got to burn it off. If you're in the middle where you're like, actually I'm working out and I know that I can level up. I know that I can level up if I want to, but it just seems to be that I've got no willpower. Stop buying it. Stop buying it. And then if you really want it, then you can go down and get it on that day that you want it, and find fun alternatives. I'll be happy to hit you up with some. Put me down like sweet recipes. Send me a little comment and I'll spend the weekend going to find you some, and I'll put them all together, and then maybe you can have a little cooking show for me and show me what you made. That'd be great. So yeah, how's my little chat about food going for you? Is there anything that you wanted to ask that I haven't answered yet? How are you all feeling in general about your own foods and what you're eating at the moment and what you need help with? Today we just explored diets really, and maybe some handy little tips and tricks to get you one level up in there. The takeaways: dieting is not for everybody. You don't have to diet to eat healthy. You don't have to diet to eat healthy. You can decide, if dieting is restrictive, which is something that I am, I find anything like that is just taking me away from positiveness. So you have to change the way that you think. If you don't enjoy the diets and the calorie counting and it's just a negative thought process for you, then think more holistically and start to question yourself why you're eating those. Is there reasons behind it? Do you eat more because you're stressed at a particular time? I've had clients that are extremely busy, especially on the quarter ends, and they're working their little bums off and their diet goes out the window, they're eating shit all the time, and then they think that this is just how their life is. But actually, when it comes down to it, they ate shit for that week because they were extremely stressed and they were really busy and they didn't have time to make the food. But for those other 2 months, they were really well behaved, bar a couple of takeaways here and there, which everyone's allowed to have. So yeah, it might be that you're also giving yourself too much of a hard time and you're not actually giving yourself those points. Every time you eat something good, are you giving yourself a little high five for it? These little silly little things really do work because you have to start to lighten your mind up. Exercise is hard for me. Okay, girl. Okay, so diet might be something that you might look into. Is that why you were here, more for the diet tips, to check out how you could do it that way? Yeah. Well, have a little look through and tell me what you think. If there is anything that I can do for you, then you're going to let me know. If you would like to exercise but you struggle because you've got arthritis, also let me know. Maybe you can send me a little message about that. Perfect. So yeah, in a nutshell, diets explored, good ones recommended, bad ones unrecommended. We had a little chat about the sweet tooth, ways that you can get your brain engaged, and little tips and tricks that you can get if you're not going to go into a diet, but you've got little things that you want to work on, like not being able to stop eating chocolate, that you might start playing games of not buying it instead. And then if you really want it, you're going to go and get it. Perfect. Okay, my lovelies. I'm going to have to love you and leave you because I'm going to be right back in like 5 minutes. I'm going to be doing a chat on self-belief, actually, self-sabotage. Why we self-sabotage our good efforts when we're trying to make changes in our lives. Okay, cool. Well, girls, guys, if you have any questions I didn't get around to answering, please feel free to shoot me a message. If you want any of the things that I've spoken about today, send me a little thing, just like with the things that you actually want, and I'll make sure that I send them along to you as well when they're ready. Have an amazing day then. Hopefully, if you're here, pop along and meet me for my chat on self-sabotage. It's coming up in just a few minutes. I'll see you then. Bye. Oh, I'll dial it back. Just reading that comment quick, Danielle. Oh, interesting, actually. We didn't get to talk about Herbalife, actually. Yes. And you done 2 days of exercise and was crippled. Perfect. Okay, cool. Herbalife has got all the nutrients that you need packed into it. I know about these vaguely. Again, lots of people have had good success on them. And they do the exercise as well, yeah. I would suggest, one, having a chat with get your doctor to get you in touch with a physio about to address the arthritis. There's lovely things that you can do to help. Hydrotherapy is actually quite effective, depending how severe it is. And you can also start to do little things with resistance band training, which the physio will tell you all about. But if it's something that you'd like to know more about, I can definitely try to point you in the right direction for what you can do there. Arthritis is crippling. It is crippling, and I'm sorry to hear that you are suffering with it. There is other things that people say to have nutritionally, like the omega-3. Try to eat it through fatty fish. It's really good for the joints in there. And I'll tell you what I'll do, Danielle, because I'm going to hop off, is that if there's any other good pointers that I can think of about wanting to exercise and eat healthy but struggling with the arthritis, I'll just send you a little message where we can have a little chat about it. That'd be great. Right, you guys are going to make me late for my next show, so I'm going to head out of here, but I am literally going to be back in like 4 minutes. I'll be chatting about self-sabotage and what it is that you can do about it. And yes, Danielle, will send you a little message once I've got a little bit more free time in my day. We will have a chat about that. Thank you all so much for joining me and for being interested, engaged and asking me your questions. Yeah, this group really is for you guys. So anything that's on your mind, I want to be like your little agony aunt of health and fitness. You got a problem? Let me help you sort it out. That's just the kind of people that we are in here. So have an amazing day. Have a great weekend if you're not going to pop over and see me for my self-sabotage chat. And yeah, I shall see you soon. Thank you. Goodbye.